I wanted to give you some feedback on the speeches that you recently gave on speech number one, but also to talk about speech number two, because a lot of you did not do as great as I think you'd hope. And I want to really target you towards that. I share the evaluation for your speeches the in the assignment. And so many of you didn't even bother to look at it. So you didn't know what you're going to be losing points on or what you should be practicing for. So since this is the last week, I wanted to make sure that I give you the best chance to get the best grade and make sure that you were able to look at the assignment, you know what you're going to be graded on so that you can work on that and get a good grade. Because I don't want anybody to say that they did not see what their assignment was, they didn't know what they were going to be graded on, so you lost a bunch of points. So I'm going to go over it and share it with you. Okay. So um, I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see what I'm talking about. This is the actual evaluation. So folks, this is the actual evaluation for what you're going to be graded on for your speech. It looks just like this. This is exactly what I will fill out and attach. For those of you who had the opportunity to see what was in your first speech evaluation, this is a pretty similar thing, except there are some differences in the point values. So let's look at the point values so you can see this. This is the instructor evaluation. Notice that this is worth 80 points. Okay, it's out of 80 points. That's significantly more than the last speech. So make sure that you are meeting these criteria so that you get it. The first thing is in the time. You'll notice here in the time section, it's worth 20 out of your 80 points. 20 out of your 80 points means that if you do not meet the time limit, there's a lot of points to be lost. Okay. Notice that here it says if your speech is between 4 and 5 minutes, you lose 5 points for every second that is over 5 minutes or every second that is under 4 minutes. That adds up. So let's say you're like, oh, I only went 5 minutes and 2 seconds. Guess what, friends? That's 10 points off. 10 points for going over by 2 seconds. So make sure you are in that time limit. Practice with your timer. Check it out. Watch it. Every time you practice, you should be practicing with your timer. Watch the timer. You are getting close to the end. Wrap it up. If you're not close enough to the 4 minutes, more elaborate more so that you get to that time. In your attention getter, it's worth 5 of your points. Your attention getter should not be a hypothetical imagined scenario. So many of you are asking us to imagine negative things. Please stop doing that. Nobody wants to imagine something bad. If what you are asking us to imagine is something that makes us feel bad, change your attention getter. That is not allowed. That is not an attention getter that's allowed. In fact, doing that, you are doing the opposite of what the attention getter is supposed to do. The attention getter is supposed to draw us in. If you use that negative hypothetical scenario or you ask us to imagine something negative, it's actually going to push us away and people shut off and block. So do not do that. Stories are the most effective way to do this. Tell us a true story. Tell us a story about something you read in a newspaper or an article or a story about somebody that you know. It doesn't have to be your true story. It should be somebody else's true story, right? You can even tell a story from a movie or from a book, but it should be a story. That's really, really effective. A number of you are doing this thing where you're just kind of giving us like giving a statement. You're just making a statement, and the statement is technically should be a source citation. So you could add a source and give it that, but you're not. You're just saying mental health is a bad thing for college students. Okay, what is that? What kind of attention getter is that? That's not a thing. That doesn't fit any of the criteria. So switch it, make it a source citation, right? Make it a quotation, right? Those things. Also, please do not ask us questions that don't make sense. Like, how many of you are college students? Not a good question to ask as an attention getter. You're not drawing us in because nobody's impressed by that question. Okay, please don't do that. And next, in this, want to look at your topic revelation statement. A number of you are introducing yourself before you start the speech. Don't do that. That is in your topic revelation statement. So you should start immediately with your attention getter and then go into your topic revelation statement, which is, hello, my name is Shantae, and I'm here to talk to you about recycling or why you should be an organ donor. Please give us, that's where that comes. And then you should go directly into your preview. First, I want to talk about the problems with organ donation in this country. Next, I want to talk about why we have those problems. And lastly, I want to talk about some solutions, what we can do to solve this problem and literally save lives. Okay, folks, some of you forgot to do the preview altogether. Some of you are only previewing the problems and then not going into the rest of it. So please make sure that you actually do that. A bunch of you forgot the preview altogether, like just didn't do it and just dove right into the main points. Make sure that you preview your main points. It is a required part of the speech. Next, in your problems, make sure that you list all of the things. We need a statement, a source citation with a month, day, and year, and elaboration. Please make sure you elaborate. Some people are just like reading things off their note card. Not okay. Please don't do that, right? Make sure you have that and support it with evidence. Most of the problems are not where I see the majority of the issue in your speeches. I'm seeing it in causes and solutions. In your causes, the causes are why the problem exists, not affects the problem. Okay, so if I were to say that, the problem is there are, 200,000 people on the organ transplant list waiting right now. An effect of that is that people are dying while waiting on this list. Notice that's still in my problem. That is not the cause of that problem. I need to know why people are on the list. Why are they dying? Not the effects, right? So make sure that you do that. Effects are part of the problem. We need to know why. The cause is the why the problem exists. In your solutions, right, you need to have two types of solutions. Now you can only have one if you want, but most of you are including the one type of solution that requires another type of solution. So if you are including what we would say like a governmental or a policy solution, meaning we need to change a law, change a rule, change a policy, add a rule, add a policy, something like that. If that is your solution, you need another solution. Okay? I think the solution for solving our organ donation crisis in this country is that we need to change the laws. We should be able to pay organ donors, like living organ donors should be able to at least recoup the amount of money they would lose from missing 6 weeks of work. That's a law. We need to change that, right? But you guys in this class are not lawmakers. We are not lawmakers. So you have to give us something that we can do to actually solve the problem. Otherwise, people go, oh, that sucks. And then they walk off. But please make sure that you give us something to do. What is my solution that I give you to do? It's being an organ donor. Not to be an organ donor. You can actually do something that fixes it. So notice that those are two solutions. One requires a law, a policy, or something. If that's your only solution, if that's your solution, your main one, you need another one that tells us, we here, non-policy makers, it's not a problem. You can alternatively just tell us. I don't have to tell you there's a law. I could just say the way you solve this problem is be an organ donor. Then you only need one solution. So, it's fine. Right. In reviewing your main points, this is literally the preview of your main points in past tense. So that would be, so today I talked to you about why you should be an organ donor. First, I talked to you about the problems with organ donation in this country. Next, I talked about why those problems exist. And lastly, I talked about some solutions, what you can do to literally save lives. That's what you need to do. Please make sure you do it in your conclusion. It's the same thing you did in your introduction. Don't forget it. A bunch of people are forgetting it. Most of you are remembering to tie back to your attention getter, whatever that is. But if you have an attention getter that's not great, and back to it isn't gonna help. So make sure you have a solid attention getter so that you can tie back. If you're using story, you can actually revisit the story and give us the end. So that's what's helpful. That's why I like stories. And bringing the speech back to a natural conclusion, what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for you to wrap it up, in a correct way. Did you say thank you at the end? Did you rush the ending? Did you follow all the policies and things that are supposed to be included in your conclusion? That's what I'm looking for. In your number of sources, a ton of people who did not do this correctly. You need to have 5 different locations with month, date, and year. Okay. Means you cannot use the Los Angeles Times more than once. Use it a second time, that second time does not count towards your 5. If you use the Huffington Post 3 times, those other 2 times don't count. You only get credit for the one time. Does not matter if it has different dates. You cannot use the same publication more than once. The reason for that is the perception that it provides. If you use the same publication more than once, the perception is that you are lazy and you only looked at one publication for your research. Those bias. You need to have multiple publications to show that you did the research. It makes you a more credible speaker. Also, the quality of your sources. Please make sure you include month, date, and year. And the way that you list your sources in your speech should be the same every single time, according to the name of the publication and the date that it was published. Every single time. Please don't skip. Okay? When I'm looking at appropriate speed or volume, making sure that you spoke loud enough and at a rate that everybody could understand. I'm looking for eye contact. Now, a number of you lost points on the eye contact because you did not deliver your speech extemporaneously. You read your speech or you delivered it, you memorized it. Neither of those things are required. None of those things are the assignment. If you read your speech or you do it from memory, you will receive a 0. Period. Because this entire class has been built on you delivering speeches extemporaneously, meaning there should be an outline on your note card and you should be delivering it from the outline. Do not, please do not to read that speech. Do not try to memorize it. If you do, you will fail. You will get a flat out 0 because that is not the assignment. Okay, please don't do that. So most of you are losing eye contact points because you're reading or it's memorized, not because you're just not making good eye contact. I'm asking you to make 70% eye contact for this speech. That should be doable at the end of the semester. I'm looking to see if you have any kind of persuasiveness or enthusiasm for the speech. And the reason for that is in order to persuade people, we need to see that you care. So show us that you care about your topic and let you pick it. So hopefully you'll pick something you care about. Gestures are something that are pretty unique in the sense that they are different for every person. I gesture a lot when I give speeches. I gesture a lot when I talk, but you don't have to be a person who gestures as much as I do. You can literally gesture however you do. What I'm looking for you to do is not do this or like stick your hands in some weird way. Leave your hands down by your side so that you can gesture how you normally do. That's what I'm looking for. In distracted mannerisms, the things that I'm noticing are people playing with their note cards, playing with their hair, playing with their clothes. See a lot of like swaying back and forth, or like leaning and shifting your weight. Those are the kinds of things that I see for distracted mannerisms. So make sure you pay attention to that. Watch your videos. If you watch your videos before you submit them, trust me, you will actually catch those things. So pay attention to your videos. Vocal fillers, that is so like those things. The other one that I'm actually going to include in there is people who smack their lips thing. If you like smack your lips in between, that is also because that's you doing the same thing as a vocal filler. They all count. You count the number of times you do it and put what your vocal filler is. For every 5 vocal fillers that you have, you lose a point. That's how that works. So just less than 5 is normal. I'm not expecting you to have 0 vocal fillers. They should not be distracting from your speech. And then correct use of your card. So many of you have this wrong. I'm going to use a colored index card thing so you can see what it looks like. So it sticks out. Your index card should be white, not hot pink. Okay, so that's first one. Second, it must be folded like this and in the palm of your hand, the entire speech. It's see it in the palm of your hand. That means you need to step back from the camera. Let me see you from the waist up so I can see it in your hand. I should see you flipping the card to use it because that's a part of the speech. I should see you actually looking down at the card, looking back up at us to deliver the speech because most of it is talking and you're just looking to get your notes. My camera's readjusting. That's my husband sitting on the couch. So y'all get to see him there. All right. So next, I'm seeing a lot of people do this with your note card. This, I should never see it like this. It should never be folded like this or unfolded like this. Neither one of those is correct. Always folded in the palm of your hand like this. Always, always, always. And that is what I'm looking for. I want to just give you some final notes, things that I think are going to be really, really important. It is important that as we are coming upon this final speech, that you actually practice your speech. You should average practicing your speech twice a day. Minutes total. It's just 10 minutes. And the way that I trick myself into doing that is just go to my phone. I set my timer for 5 minutes, I deliver my speech, and then I'm done. Because your speech isn't supposed to be longer than 5 minutes anyway. So if you just say, I just need to practice for 5 minutes, I'm gonna stand up, put my note card in my hand, just for 5 minutes. When I'm done, put it down. Think about how I did. Okay, what do I do? Maybe I need to make some changes on this. Okay, great. Come back later on that day. Again, another 5 minutes. Put the card in your note, put the note card in your hand, stand up, deliver your speech. And then when you're like, okay, 5 minutes up, what did I do? Great. 10 minutes a day is not a whole lot. Your speeches are due by Friday evening, so it shouldn't hurt you to practice a couple times every day. The more you practice, the better you'll be. The more you practice the way you're going to present is what makes a difference. Most of you are practicing the wrong way. It's pretty obvious because I can see that you're not practicing the way that you're supposed to present. So that means that your practice is kind of not useless. It's kind of useless because it's not the way you're supposed to present the speech. So stand up, put the card in your hand, practice the way you're going to present. It will make the biggest difference in your speech delivery. Practice, practice, practice. You are all capable of doing well on your speeches. Please do so. Please take the time to work on them. Don't let the last speech in this class be something you throw away. You've spent all semester working extremely hard on these speeches and extremely hard in your work. You've all grown so much. Don't throw away the last speech. Take your time, make sure it's good, and then make sure you practice so that you get a good grade for this. Okay, you got this.